Hello and welcome to the big story here on the BDTV Breakfast Show. This is where we discuss key issues shaping our nation and our economy. My name is Elizabeth Musa, and today we are focused on the energy sector. We're exploring what lower petrol prices mean in deregulated Nigeria's markets, and we're looking at the impact on the economy and Nigeria at large. The full deregulation of the downstream oil sector has aided the establishment of some private refineries in the country, including the 650,000 naira barrel per day Dangote refinery, the largest in Africa. In addition to this, the recent announcement by the NNPCL that the federal government-owned Port Harcourt and Warri refineries have resumed production has resulted in increased capacity for local refining of petroleum products, even as importation of the product is also continuing. The development has engendered price competition between fuel importers and local refineries, bringing relief to consumers. Just last week, the Dangote refinery again slashed the retail price of petrol to 860 naira per litre in Lagos. The latest price reduction was the second time in February that the Dangote refinery will cut its ex-depot price from 890 naira to 825 naira per litre. This development has, however, elicited complaints from fuel importers who fear that the recurring price slash by the Dangote refinery poses a threat, as they will have to struggle to play profitably in the deregulated market. But to help us understand this very much better, we are joined in the studio by our senior energy correspondent here at BizDay, Diko Oladende, as well as Comrade Olawale Afolabi, who is joining us virtually, is the General Secretary of NUPENG, and he'll be joining us to dissect this conversation and unpack what it means for us. Welcome to the studio.
Yeah, good morning. It's nice seeing you again.
So before we start, what does it really mean when we say a deregulated market, especially in the energy sector? Let me start with you, Diko.
Okay, so good morning everyone, and good to be here once again. So a deregulated market is a market where the forces of demand and supply are allowed to dictate the price of whatever goods and services that are being offered in the market. And so in our petroleum markets, which is the main point of discussion today, Nigeria, when President Bola Tinubu came on board, he said fuel subsidy is over, and then we are moving, and so gradually we transited into a deregulated market, and that's where we are today. So what we are witnessing is the Dangote refinery is also on board as well, which is a major development when it comes to having a fully deregulated market. And so we've seen prices are beginning to go down, and compared to where we're coming from before. So sometimes before we were doing petrol prices of about 1,002, 1,003, and now we are in the 890 region. So I wouldn't say we are not. There are more to benefit from a fully deregulated market. There's more to benefit than just lower petrol prices. We are talking about increasing economic activities in the downstream sectors. We are talking about employment. We are talking about job creation. We are talking about adding more value to Nigeria's GDP. So if you check last year, prior before now, oil and gas contributions to Nigeria's oil and gas sector is basically less than a single digit. So we do 8%, we do 7%, 6%. But now that we are having a fully optimal midstream level, which is the value chain of Nigeria's oil and gas sector, then we'll start seeing more contribution to Nigeria's GDP, and we'll start to see growth. We'll start to see increase in economic activities, which would, of course, have multiplier effect on everyone.
Diko, thank you for making us understand what it really means when we say a deregulated market. But if we have Comrade Afolabi there, I'll just pose this question to you. So this seems to be an interesting time in Nigeria, especially for consumers of petroleum products. For you, from your own perspective, is this what we've been waiting for?
Yeah, good morning to you over there, and good morning to everybody.
Good morning.
Actually, this is what we've been clamoring for. That we should have food regulation where markets will be allowed freely to determine the prices. But we need to be mindful of our celebration so that we don't celebrate too early. The current price slashing and reduction is a reflection of the capacity of the value of our naira. That's one. Two, it's also a reflection of the competition among the major players. Sometimes it is good, sometimes it is dangerous, and we don't want a situation where we have monopoly, because some people are outplaying the other. But by and large, I want to commend Dangote Refinery for coming on board. It has really helped our economy. It will also help in the very long run. And those who are complaining, the importers that are complaining, I wonder why they can't use the money they are using to import, pull together and build refinery as well. And rather than allowing our foreign reserve to be on the flights, I think we should encourage us to have domestic production. I commend NNPC as well for Port Harcourt and Warri refineries resuming operations. And I also want to commend some other Nigerians, private individuals. We have Edo Refinery. They also told us they are going to Warri Cocoa area to open another big one. We also commend Watersmith, Niger Delta Refinery. These are private refineries that are coming on board. And in the long run, even now, the impact of the reduction on the economy will be massive. It's going to have a wide range of effect on virtually everybody, including those who are selling tomatoes, including those who are selling ice block, because energy is the main source of any kind of production. So market women, even our members, are going to also, they are benefiting already, because with the full deregulation and when the price of PMS and other products went up, there was also very high reduction in the haulaging, in the marketing, in the distribution. But with the reduction, many people will be able to come back into the business. If you observe very well, when the price went up, many petrol stations closed down. You drive to many, you won't find them, except the big players. And we hope that the price will go down further. The value of Naira will pick up so that, many people will come back into the system. There will be employment, and small and medium scale businesses will also come back, because as we know, energy drives every economy. So it's a good thing where we're having.
Comrade Afolabi, I'm very curious to know, from your standpoint as the General Secretary of the Nigerian Union of Petroleum and Gas Workers, what are some of the factors driving these price reductions, given the various local and international variables? Are we likely to see further reductions or another increment that will make the relief a short-lived one?
Yeah, number one is the value of our Naira. Naira to dollar parity, you will realize that what you are buying at when dollar was 1,900, 1,800. Now, whatever you are buying then, and compared to when dollar is now hovering between 1,400 and 1,500, there will be a major difference. And it's supposed to be, except some unscrupulous business people. So we're supposed to have reduction in this price of cement, in the prices of all our goods. That's number one. So when the value of Naira, our Naira, when the value goes up, definitely the purchasing power of Naira will also go up. And that is reflected there. The other one is about competition. And when Dangote has 650,000 barrel to be produced and to store, there is also tendency for him to produce and have more than enough. So it's a factor of supply and demand. He cannot keep storing up, having higher prices, because his profit also comes from turnover. So that's number two. Number three is that there is also competition. Everybody's coming to the market, and whether confirmed or unconfirmed, Dangote has also been shouting about some cabals coming together to frustrate his business. That despite the fact that he has enough to supply to this country, some marketers are still hell-bent on importation. So in that kind of scenario, they are forcing him, he is forcing them. It's a good thing for Nigerians. But my own concern, or our own collective concern, is that rather than base this thing on importation, which is taking our employment away, taking our at-end foreign reserves away, let us have local production. let's support local production. Government should encourage local production. And so these are three factors that are driving it.
All right. Dipo, you are someone, you've been reporting this story, so you clearly understand the client side, like that's producer side and the consumer side. So for you, can you tell us what these lower prices mean for the economy and the Nigerian society? I mean, from the feedback that you get from when you're writing your stories and all of that, what does this mean?
Okay, so thanks. Well, Comrade Afolabi alluded to some of it. So, energy cost is a major cost component for most SMEs in Nigeria. So either you're talking about sole proprietorship, you're talking about partnership business, you're talking about small and medium scale enterprise. Energy cost covers close to 60 to 65% of their variable cost. So anytime there's a slight decline in that cost, automatically you see the effect in terms of lower prices for goods and services in Nigeria. And so let's not forget that inflation has also, before the rebasing of the inflation figures, inflation was moving at a geometric pace. And so energy cost was also one of the major drivers driving that inflation up. So now that we are having lower petrol prices, we are seeing farmers who basically move crops from their farmlands to the areas where they are being in demand of, would definitely see lower transportation costs as well. So I mean, the multiplier effect on the economy is also is huge, is immense. What we need to make sure is to make sure that we are seeing value for money, to make sure that people are, so when the prices go up, Nigerians are quick to hike prices, and so now that prices are going down, we should also follow the process and start questioning goods and services that we are not seeing the kind of downward trend in prices when petrol prices are also going down. So, and let's not also forget that international crude oil prices are also going down as well. I mean, all of these have multiple effects. But like Comrade said, it's a good thing. It's a welcome development. Everybody is in support of food deregulation. And as far as we get value from it, as far as there is job creation, as far as we are retaining that value addition in terms of oil and gas, because I mean, long time over the years, it's been embarrassing. Nigeria is Africa's biggest oil producing country, but yet we export all of our crude oil and we bring in all of our refined products. So hopefully we should see more to come in the coming months in 2025.
Thanks, Dipo. And Comrade Afolabi, talking of competition, the government has justified the continuous issuance of petrol import license as to check a monopolistic market, so they say. But with the recurring price reductions by the Dangote refinery, seems to be dictating the pace with other importers, often panicking. Don't you think that this monopoly, they will fear? Don't you think that this monopoly that they fear will still show up?
I don't think so. The NNPC has refineries, and we have private refineries as well. And there is also space for any competitor to come in, whether local or foreign investors. Nobody is stopping them. So rather than being afraid of monopoly and stopping us from enjoying the benefit that the current scenario is giving us, we should encourage others to come in. I beg to ask, why are they interested in importation rather than pulling together and setting up refineries? No, we should ask that question. So we want to avoid monopoly by importation. It doesn't make sense. We should not leave our energy security to outsiders. Rather, government should encourage all those importers. Come, bring your resources together. Come and invest here. But as long as government keep justifying the issuance of importation license based on avoiding monopoly, we keep having it. And they keep sabotaging the genuine effort of those investors in Nigeria. So we should avoid falling into that trap. Those who don't want the old system to go away, we should avoid falling into it. Okay, we've celebrated them over the year, but at whose expense? At the expense of ordinary masses, at the expense of employment, at the expense of our foreign reserves. So we should stop justifying what is wrong. Encourage local investors. We have Edo Refinery is improving We have Watersmith Refinery, they are doing well. We have Niger Delta Refinery, they are doing well. And no matter how small the scale is, but they are doing something. And little effort will become big thing later when we aggregate everything together. There should be no justification for that. We should give maximum. This is the period we will stop importation and we encourage other people to come in. And you see, money of business is very interesting. When you let's take another example of during rainy season, you see people selling roasted corn by the roadside. And another woman will say, this woman is making it, selling this. Let me also go instead of remaining idle. Let me also do it. And you see a lot of people doing it because they see that this woman selling this roasted meat by her roadside is also feeding her family. So also in big businesses, if Dangote is making it, so let other people come in and do it. Let's take government, pool resources together and do it. This is the simple logic. Thank you.
I hear you when you say that the government should instead encourage them to come and invest. But what do you think about crude supply challenges that we have also?
See, it is only when you don't start something, there will always be challenges and you address them. The current challenges about crude will be addressed. And we have it. And all these challenges are not beyond our solutions. They are not beyond our capacity to resolve. Even if they are bringing crude from outside to refine here. Yeah, we were once taking our crude out and getting refined product. West African markets is there. African market is there. So let's get crude from anywhere. But let's have domestic production. And we can turn it, value added, send it out. There's no justification for issuance of foreign import license to me. Thank you.
Thank you, Comrade. Dikwa, I know you want to add something to that.
Okay, yeah, so competition is a good thing, and we should always encourage competition in the downstream sector. Fantastic. But where we are missing it is the idea that we need importers to compete with local refining. No, I think the ideal thing is we should have competition among local refineries in Nigeria. So we should have a Dangote refinery, for instance, competing with NNPC refinery. We should have a Watersmith refinery, for instance, competing with a Dangote refinery in terms of supply of either diesel, jet fuel, or petroleum products.
Right.
We shouldn't be so much focused on giving, because again, you ask yourself, instead of putting all of these dollars to import products, why don't you use these dollars to build a refinery? So that's one. Rather than focus so much on giving import license to people, why don't we focus on solving our crude oil challenges? Why don't we focus on meeting all of the local refineries, making sure they have all of the crude oils they need? Then we can have, because let's not forget that the most important thing about being an oil producing country is that getting value for your crude oil. And the best way to get value is for you to domesticate the value chain of whatever goods and services you are producing, from the starting points to the end points. And you can't do that if you keep getting obsessed with importing petroleum products. So I believe in a competition, but then I believe let's encourage local competition. Let's ask ourselves question, where are we in terms of Warri refinery? How many million liters of petrol are they refining now? Can they compete with, for instance, a Dangote refinery in terms of supplying the South markets? Or can a Watersmith compete with an NNPC refinery in terms of supplying the Southeastern market? So, I mean, that's where we should have conversation on. That's my view.
So basically domestication and encouraging local competition. Comrade Afolabi, the tanker drivers recently had an issue with the Lagos state government over their operations along the Lekki-Epe corridor. Now this has led to the drivers threatening to withdraw their services. Has this issue been fully resolved, and what has been the role of the NUPENG in this?
Thank you for bringing this matter up. Let me appreciate the governor of Lagos State. He personally called and for the intervention. Apart from appreciating the governor, His Excellency, I need to talk about overzealous officials and Nigerians generally. We should appreciate what tanker driver is doing in this country. We have both, all of us have agreed just now that energy is the main driver of every form of business all over the world, either small, medium, or large scale. And even the comfort in our different homes, even this television interview and engagement we're having, it's because we have energy to drive it. But come to think of it, have we asked ourselves how this driver cope? Driving from Lagos to Kaduna, to Katsina, to Adamawa to deliver this product. Have you asked yourself, how are we getting this at our petrol station near us? These drivers are doing wonderful work. Nobody cares about how they are surviving. With this insecurity all over the country, bad roads on everywhere, and they drive day and night to ensure that we enjoy the comfort of our homes and we earn returns on our investment. There is no trailer park for tanker driver to rest anywhere in this country. Depots were being built, no concern, no care about the convenience of these trailer drivers. They would drive all the way. Before our pipelines were abandoned, we used to use pipeline, but now we depend solely on trucking. A driver may drive for 2 weeks, not seeing his family. We don't care where he has his convenience. If he's on the highway and he's pressed, we don't care what he does. He comes to Lagos, he has to wait to load product to go and deliver. Where he sleeps, nobody cares. When he's pressed, nobody cares. When he's sick, nobody cares. It is the union that is now making intervention, having health HMO for every driver on the wheel. Because we know that an unwell driver is an accident waiting to happen. So we have to engage an health insurance, an health provider that has about 2,000 hospitals across the country, that every way where you are going as a tanker driver, while you're on the wheel, if you are feeling unwell, park, let doctor examine you, let doctors attend to you. Nobody cares. When they are tired, where do they rest? You don't want accident. So, but who cares about when a driver is fatigued and wherever he's resting, is it safe or secure? We told our members not to drive in the night. So they loaded at Lekki axis. The loading took a long time and they couldn't go. It was around 4 or 5 o'clock. They had to park and wait for the morning to come for them to drive. Suddenly, some overzealous individuals with gun and all kind of gadget went there around 1 a.m. to attack the drivers. Pulled them out from where they are sleeping, pulled them out from their trucks, and took them to prison. It was an harrowing experience, very disheartening, very, very, very discomforting to hear the way they were treated. Why? We have lost humanity. Are these drivers less than human? All of you are in the comfort of your home. These drivers are serving the nation as well. So that was why the driver decided to withdraw their services from Lagos. If you don't care about them, if you treat them like ordinary criminal, yeah, let them withdraw. But we have resolved it, we have talked about it. But I'm laying this forward to Nigerians that appreciate what these drivers are doing. If you are a professor, if you are a medical doctor, it is just by his grace, by the grace of the situation of your birth that put you in that position. These tanker drivers too, they started from somewhere. Many of them will have loved to be the accountant, medical doctor. But the fortune of life put them and they are rendering their service. Same way police are rendering services, same way military men are rendering services, the tanker drivers spend all their lives driving to make you comfortable, driving to make this economy move. We should respect and appreciate them. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Comrade Afolabi, for that answer. I could sense and tell how much passion and concern in this conversation was for you. But you know, the regulator has recently had some limits recently. What capacity of trucks can carry to avoid disaster? What capacity can the trucks avoid to avoid disaster?
You want me to respond to the capacity that we avoid disaster?
Yes.
Okay. Accident, number one, accident can happen. Nobody wants accident. That's the definition of accident. But for over 10 years now, precisely around 2012, 2013, we normally do regular training for tanker drivers on the wheel, the union. These are part of the expenses that we incur. So in 2012, I was the one leading the training in Warri, especially, I remember clearly. And one of the tanker drivers stood up and said, one of the major reasons for the recurrent accidents was as a result of the axle load, the size of the truck they are driving now. That was when it first struck me too, that now they are having 70,000 liter, 80,000 liter, 60,000 liters. And ordinarily, what we all knew when the pipelines were working was 33,000 liter truck. Over time, it moved, people started having 45,000 liters. And this comes as a result of the abandonment of the pipelines, which was originally planned as a system that from the 21 strategic depot that we had in this country then trucking would be for short duration of maximum of 150 kilometer radius. But when we abandoned the pipeline, we had to rely heavily on trucking. Now, businessmen started increasing the capacity. They want to get as much load, as much product as possible to every station to evacuate from their depots, those private depots. And that was when they started increasing from 40, 33, 45, 50, 60, 70, 80. Sometimes we have 90,000. They call some of 90,000, 100,000 Boko Haram trucks. And the impact generally on the driver, on the road itself, and the recurrence of accidents and fatality of these accidents are so enormous. So we started advocacy against these trucks. And during the regime of President Buhari and Mr. Rajiv Fashola as Minister of Works, we were moving towards having this kind of decision that no truck bigger than 45,000 liters should be allowed on our roads. We also look at even the issue of importation of this open body, that the effect on our roads are enormous. So a committee was set up then in 2019, 2020, and we visited the ports, we visited the toll gates, so that there will be reintroduction of weigh bridges. That anybody found carrying beyond this, there will be portion beside the weigh bridge where they will transload and things like that. But it never saw the light of the day until recently, until very, very recently, when we had the unfortunate incidences of accident and fire and people scooping petroleum products. So it was decided at a meeting as part of mitigating against this, that no truck with capacity above 60,000 should be allowed to load from our depots across the country. And no truck above 60,000 should be allowed to also traverse our highway. That's the decision so far, that from 1st of March, and that later in the year, maybe we should also review it. Maybe we go back, we go down to 45,000 or thereabout, just in the interest of the public and the interest of our nation, that life of Nigerians are very important. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Comrade Afolabi. No trucks above 60,000 allowed to traverse our highway. We'll see how that turns out from here. But thank you very much for your time this morning, as well as you, Diko Oladende, for spending your morning with us this morning on The Big Story. That's all we can take right now. Stay tuned for more updates on BDTV.